All right. So yeah, so for one, the talking about the sneaker game is a dope idea. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one, I find myself entertaining myself. You know what I'm saying? Just by looking through and looking at shoes. Some of them I have, some of them I don't. But it always fascinates me. You know what I'm saying? The type of shoe that come out when certain joints drop, what they look like. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at the sneaker game as not just what's elite and how much it costs, but can an average cat like myself, you know what I'm saying, afford that joint, and then what will I wear that joint to? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So with me, it's not just about like just accumulating like 200 or 300 pairs of shoes, but getting the ones that I find be functional.
Man.
So yeah, man. So do you have a favorite shoe like a ghost rider, like one that you like a unicorn that you want to get,
Um,
that you like, that you can't afford, maybe that maybe just out of range, or they don't drop frequently enough?
Man, a lot of the favorites from that I like, but they're not even in like rotation anymore. They're like from back in the day. So it was like a lot of them haven't been reissued or whatever and put on the market again. But I mean, I grew up with like a lot of different sneakers and a lot of Jordans and Air Max and Harachis and that I
Right.
felt like the 80s and 90s had like the best sneakers like from all the lines, not just Nike but Reebok and Puma and New Balance and now it's like I it's the retro thing is big again, but it's not like the same. It's like there's something missing when they
Right.
reproduce these sneakers again, and either like the bottoms are different or like the little detailing on the tongue is different. But um,
Right.
I mean, in high school I had like like Reebok pumps. I remember those like Shaq was like a big like one of my favorite players at that time. I used to watch him at LSU, and then when he went
Right.
to Orlando, and when he came out with those, that was like a big shoe. So that was like one of my favorites. And the Harachis, I wore that a lot during like the summer '92, and of course the Air Forces. The Air Forces was always a big thing here. That even back in the day, and then like in the 2000s when they had like a Renaissance period. And it's a lot. There was a lot of sneakers that I grew up on.
I think there was a that Renaissance period. I kind of think there was like a lull in design. I think that the shoe companies got too crazy with
Yeah,
what they was trying to design, and cats stopped buying them because I just think the creativity fell off,
right.
especially like when you get to like Jordan 16, 17, 18, 19. You're like, I don't know, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but to what you said, man. So my favorite shoe, right? My
Mm.
favorite shoe of all time is is the Jordan 11, right? Because I think it's the peak of artistic design.
Right.
It's the peak of the athlete being relevant to the shoe. You know what I'm saying? It's the peak of testing out all these different textures on the shoe, like different fabrics on the shoe at one time. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff going, and I think they just hit it on the head with the Jordan 11. Like to me,
Right.
the Concord Blue or the Ruby Red, you can't go wrong with those. You know what I'm saying? You can go with the black on blacks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they nice. You know what I'm saying? And like I would wear the black all black Jordan 11s, and of course they're not all black, but you know what I mean. The black Jordan 11s, I would wear those with a suit. You know what I'm saying? Like a black suit. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? Black tie, white shirt. I'll throw
Mm.
those Jordan 11s on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
because because they classy. They like give you that
Yeah.
classy, styling or whatever. But
Right.
every shoe that's made is not made for every occasion. So like like when you mentioned the New Balance, every time I think New Balance, man, I think about I'm about to go to my auntie and them cookout, and I'll probably be standing around for a long time. I'm gonna throw on some khaki shorts and some New Balance. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they gotta be suede. They gotta be blue. I
Yeah,
can't deal with that gray
those suede.
suede.
And every time I think about New Balance, I always think about Phife Dawg, because he
Yeah.
was like an advocate for that line of sneaker, and it always used to like when people say New Balance, it was like, oh well, they different because they didn't say Nike or Reebok at that time, but for some reason that always his like face always sticks in my head when I think about New Balance.
Yeah, yeah. New Balance is probably, in my opinion. So I'm a big guy, right?
Right.
So the cat that's like 300 pounds plus, New Balance, New Balance would be the one that we like to, you know what I'm saying, put on when we're gonna be walking somewhere, standing around, chilling,
Yeah.
something, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So New Balance always been the dopest walking shoe, you know what I'm saying, just to be chilling in. You
Hmm.
know, in terms of looks though, in terms of looks, it ain't gonna be the one that always impress. It impress basically depending on, like I wouldn't see myself wearing New Balance with anything other than like being like the like I said, like the cookout functions
Right.
or something like that. I'm not wearing them like nowhere else to nothing. Like I'm not gonna work in them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, try to, like, if me, like, for instance,
Hmm.
a lot of us YouTubers or whatever, you know what I'm saying, we meet through this medium here. But when we meet up in real life, when we just go kick it eventually once this COVID stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't think you'll be impressed with me rolling up with some New Balance on. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Now, I mean, of course, my big deal is I don't live to impress others. At the same time, though, at the same time, is, one of them deals where, um, if, like, when they say first impression is the best impression, I'll
mhm.
probably rock out with some Jordan, some type of maybe 11,
I,
maybe
I
some
think
12 or something like that.
I think it all depends on how you swag it out. Like it could be a pair of Payless sneakers if it look fly on you and the way that you hook it up with your outfit. I mean, people gonna definitely give you props for that. I mean, I never. I mean, I always liked, I love fashion and I love like the big labels. But I mean, if I could get like a fly pair of Vans, I think it's comfortable. I'm gonna rock it out. And I've
Right.
had Vans and people acting like, yo, where did you get that at? And you know what I'm saying? But the way I rock out, it might not be just a pair of sneakers. It might be like some socks to go with it, or like a bucket hat to go with it. So I
Right.
always like try to be different and not try to like look, look like the next person or try to stand out. So I mean, I did that even back in elementary school. Like, you remember Travel Fox? That line that
Yeah.
it was like comfortable sneakers, but they you could go in the club with them. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I had a pair of Travel Fox, and back when Playboy were like making like the men's wear had like the slip-ons for like picture day at school and all that. So I've
Right.
always like tried to stand out and not try to like look like everybody else.
No, no doubt, no doubt. And for me, I have this weird personality thing, and with me, it's I don't give when it comes to like dressing, dog. I feel like I am my own swag.
Right.
That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like when I step in a joint, I'm gonna be fly regardless
Hmm.
if I'm wearing Jesus sandals. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
But that's the whole thing about that is confidence in what you wanna wear, and sometimes people they build their confidence through like they outfit and stuff like a Frank. When you
right.
watch Frank dress, you like, yo, this cat here has his own. Regardless of what you say about him,
Hmm.
he has his own like swag
That's
unto
right.
himself, and he think he is drippy,
Right.
and you can't tell him that he ain't, which is
Right.
the whole point of being drippy in the first place.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, so I like the Nike Cortez, the old
Yeah.
school Nike Cortez.
Yes.
You know, kind of like those a lot. I'm not really a huge fan of say the all white shoe unless it's maybe Forces.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Then I can rock those,
Yeah.
but in terms of the Nike Cortez, I can see. I hadn't seen a silver pair or a red pair in a real long time,
Right.
but that classic black and white or navy blue and white is
Yes.
still, you know what I'm saying,
I
still, you know.
I believe I had the it was either navy blue and white or gray and navy back in the day. Like I was like real little when they came out, and I remember having a pair. They were real comfortable, and they go well with like blue jeans, like blue denim
Right,
and
right.
joggers, of course. But like yeah, like they're making a big comeback because of Kendrick. He started rocking them again, and like, everybody went crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a
I
lot
was
of
just
now, huh?
Oh, I was just gonna say that because so I rocked them in like the '80s, right?
Yeah,
And then I didn't rock them for a long time, and then so I get stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, and I started going like different places on the West Coast or whatever,
right,
and I see them everywhere. It's like if you don't have them, something wrong with you.
right,
But on the East Coast, we kind of
yeah,
stopped wearing these Cortez because we graduated to Air Max.
right.
But on the West Coast, they don't graduate. They like if they like West Coast dudes when they like something, they gonna rock it forever. You
And
know what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like it has that classic look for like the like West Coast fashion. I notice is different from East Coast, so it's like it's more like, I don't want to say like gang culture, but I think it's more accepted in that realm of fashion for them out there.
Right,
So I think that's why it's really big for like the West Coast, and Kendrick coming from the West Coast.
right, right. The West Coast dudes, man, you definitely gonna see the Chuck Taylors. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
definitely gonna see the Chucks, and
yeah,
you definitely gonna see the Nike Cortez.
right.
Right? That's just like that's the staple. I went to a swap meet one time, and I don't even know why they call it a swap meet. I don't even get that, but whatever, whatever. So I go out there and yo, dudes is out there selling like Nike Cortez, and dudes is buying like two or three pair at a time.
Yep.
And I'm like, dog, why you buying like two or three pair of the same shoe at a, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't get it at the time, you know what I'm saying? But the West Coast cats, you know, I'm not gonna say they have their own culture because they don't. They're still the hip hop culture. They still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They still, in that hip hop vein.
Mhm.
But at the same time, um, hey man, cut off khakis, a wife beater, and some
Yeah.
Chuck Taylors,
Right.
or some Nike Cortez is the hood outfit.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like how we used to do like the plain white tees a little while
Right.
ago.
Right. I
You
mean,
know
we
what
still
I'm
rocking them here. We still got in the summertime the all white
saying?
tees and the shorts and basketball shorts. We rocking on Jordans.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, so I did a list. I don't know if we'll have time to go through the whole thing, but I just wanted to. So
Uh,
I have a top five of the
right.
ones of the shoes that I feel like is a must have for a shoe collector.
Right.
Um, and this is just, and I'm talking about any shoe collector. I'm not talking about you don't have to have like 2,000 pair of shoes. I'm saying if you consider yourself a collector, you should probably have this, have these boxes in your set. So so the first pair I think that you must have is the Adidas Superstar.
Yes, that is a must.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
You got to have those in. You can
Hmm.
have the white on white. I was just about to sound like Run DMC, white on white with black stripes, the one that like the whatever the right to my
Right.
you know what I'm
They
saying?
the ones
But,
that made that. I feel like they're the ones that made it popular. Like once they got their shoe deal in the '80s, and they
right.
made it popular. It was cool to rock Adidas, and I rocked a lot of Adidas. At that time, and just because like I grew up on them. They were like the very first like rap artists that I started listening to. So everything that
Right.
they did, it was like golden to me. So if they were rocking Adidas, I was rocking Adidas. If they were rocking,
Yeah.
if they were rocking Tommy or Polo, I would have been doing the same thing. So
Right. 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 No, hey, no doubt, no doubt. And during that era, there were a lot of shoes out too, like a lot of high end, very expensive, um, very expensive sneakers out. There was there was the Bill Blast tennis shoes.
right, I remember those.
I bought a pair of those. Like I spent my entire like all the money I got for Christmas one year.
Right,
I just spent all of it. I think I had to borrow like $7, like $10 just to make sure I got them. And they were like the ones with they look like the Adidas Superstar
mm,
without the Adidas branding, of course. And they
right,
had the two B's on the back for Bill Blast. You know, so that's how I like, yo, them too fly for me not to get.
mm-hmm.
But even your Diodoras was out back then.
I
Your
had
Scott
those. Yeah.
Bilts were, yep. Your Sauconys were out back then.
Yes, I had those.
Um, yeah, so there was so many high end level shoes. Like
Right,
these shoes, like people will assume that the hike in sneaker cost was associated with the introduction of the Air Jordan, and it really wasn't. I mean, Jordans were expensive because they were well made, but these other brands were just brand name shoes, like with the like I forget the name of the brand already. It just slipped my mind already. But these shoes in like 81, 82
right,
were like $85, $90, like in 81. That's ridiculous, man. That's back then shoes were like under $30.
right.
Sneakers were like under $30, and you talking about somebody paying $85 for a pair of shoes. That was what the Dope Boys was doing.
Yeah,
And even then, if the shoe didn't have that hood element to it, the
mm-hmm.
Dope Boys wasn't even wearing those.
Rocking it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So,
I remember when Diodoras came out, and back then, way before the internet, like you would see like somebody on the street or like your friend at school rocking a pair of like sneakers like that, and then you would like ask them like, yo, where you got those from? And then you would go to the store and get it. There was no hype beast around that particular sneaker back then, and I remember my friend had a friend named Gregory in elementary school, and he had a pair of those Diodoras, and I remember asking him, and then I went out and I got a pair, and
right,
yeah, I always felt like that was like an underrated sneaker. I know they're back out again, and the young generation is familiar with them now, but you know that was a sneaker that I was like, yo, like I never seen them before. So I had, once my friend at school had them, I was like, yo, I like those. I gotta get me a pair. So
right.
yeah, they were dope.
So just real quick, man. So I was rocking these white on white Adidas, right, the Superstars,
Right.
right? Because I can get fat shoelaces and throw in there and put designs in my shoelace. So you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
like design the way I want, put checkerboard in there, whatever.
Yeah.
And so these dudes from like 2 streets over, they call themselves the Lotto Crew, right?
Yeah.
So, they break dance and do whatever, rap, whatever, do their little thing. So they come up like to my house and they stop and they like, you know what I'm saying? They like, no, don't let them see him, don't let them see him. And I'm like, what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? And my man, and they just split open like the Red Sea, and my man just stepped on him like, bam! And so he got on a pair of Diodoras, right?
Right.
And I'm like, yo, those is dope. What is that? Like when you are shorty, you cannot, but sometimes,
Yeah.
and I know we overdo it, but in the moment, you don't understand,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But so he had on a pair of Diodoras, and then I was like, yo, what's my man right there got on next to you?
Mhm.
Guess what he was wearing, dog?
What you doing?
Lottos. You remember Lottos?
Lottos. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great,
yeah. So with this thing, like with the shoe culture, man, you like, it's kind of like one of them deals where as adults, you know what I'm saying, we'll cruise the internet and find what we can get, and if it's in our price range, we'll get it right then, or or put some money to the side, save for it, and get whatever. But when you're a kid, and the impression that these shoes put on you is like insane. Like the first time I saw Saucony's, I'm like, what is that? Or the first time I saw Feli's,
Feelings,
I was like, Feli's. I was like, what is that?
yeah.
That right there is I didn't know like all these Italian brands were like, into this stuff before, because the only thing I knew was Puma and Nike. You know what I'm saying? Like we go down, like we go downtown or go uptown or whatever, and you see your Puma t-shirts in the window with a pair of Clydes in front. You think that's the style that everybody know. You know what I'm saying? Get you a Puma hat, a Puma trucker hat or whatever, fishnet, whatever joint. And then you see cats walking in your hood with Feli's on. You like, yo, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I just wanted to touch on that, man. So the Stan Smith Superstar, I think, got to be in your collection.
I had those. I had those. I think the first pair I had was, I want to say 97, 98. And I remember just being on, like, in Manhattan on Canal Street. And I had like some cousins like that. They had moved away from New York and they went to Tampa. So they used to come up every summer, and we would go to the mall and shop, or the movies or whatever. So that was like one of those summers when they came up to visit, and we went shopping in the city. And I remember going to like this little sneaker store in Canal Street, and they had like Stan Smiths. They had the Superstars. They had like different sneakers. I forgot what was even popping back in like 97, 98 for sneakers, but I never had a pair of Stan Smith, and I was like, well, I gotta get a pair. And they had like the all white with the green, the green on top.
Yeah.
I got them, and they had the classic look. They felt comfortable, and I was like, I always knew about Stan Smith, the tennis player, and I always seen the sneakers, but I never got them. So I'm like, let me get a pair of those. And, those were comfortable. I had wore them a lot.
Yo, so 97, 98, to your point, 97, 98, that was kind of like I think that was the Air Max era, maybe?
Yeah, like 95, 96 was like when they really started to pop, especially like the neon with the gray.
Oh yeah.
That's when and then they had like a lot of colors come out, and then like they went crazy with the Air Maxes. You know what I'm saying? They bought a lot of Air Maxes at that time too. And I think Ken Griffey Jr. will rock an Air Max on the field. Like he had like some cleats, if I'm mistaken. I might be wrong about that. And they were just big at that time. Like everybody was rocking Air Maxes, like 97, 98, as well as the Jordan still.
Right.
But like I didn't want to like go with the wave and let me get some Jordans. So I'm like, I'm gonna rock the Stan Smith things. Nobody else is rocking this.
Right. And so the funny thing is I think what happened is during that era is, so you had like two waves like coalescing at the same time. Like you got the Air Max and cats is coming out with the different fabrics, like where you can get like the tiger skin on the back, and the front is like patent leather and something. So you're like, yo, this is but what we found is the prices were getting I won't say ridiculous, but the prices were going up really fast. Like Air Max by themselves were like $115, right? So with me, I couldn't just buy Air Max when I saw them. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't making no money like that. So I had to, maybe, save up like some bread and then wait on whenever something new came out, then I'd jump on it then.
Right.
But at the same time, Reebok had came out with like just regular walking shoes, like the 5411s.
Right.
And then they had the plain Reebok, I forget what you call them, just the plain Reebok walking shoe was white on white.
Right.
I can't remember or the black on black. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Cats was like, they had knocked Forces out the box. Dudes was like, man, I ain't getting no Forces, man. I'm gonna rock these Reeboks.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Because at the time you're like, how you not gonna rock? Mm-hmm. And at the same time, Nike and Jordan brand were like combining Forces and Jordans together and all these type kind of deals. And so you're like, yeah, maybe that's just too much, man. Sometimes the simplest style is the best style to go with.
Facts. I think
Yeah.
that's why Air Forces are still so like popular because they have that classic look. You can rock them with a pair of khakis or jeans, or they go with anything now. So
Right.
that they still able to maintain a following.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Certain shoes, like certain. I think what it is certain styles just get it right out the box,
Right.
and they don't ever have to do anything to touch it. Like they
Yeah.
don't ever have to improve on the original. Like at the time Air Force Ones came out, Nike put out a bunch of different shoes. Like
Yeah.
they were Delta Forces, the Max trainers.
Hmm.
Um, there's a bunch of different shoes, and all these different shoes had all these things going on with them,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But the Forces was the one everybody would gravitate to. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? This, the white on white, the black on black.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. So you got any shoe like any idea? Well, any shoe
Um.
that a collector must have in their collection?
See, like for me, growing up as a sports fan, I've always, after Jordan and all the other athletes started getting their deals, Barkley and Reggie Miller, I've always liked the sneakers from like certain like athletes, like the Barkleys. I love the Barkleys,
Right.
especially when he went to Phoenix, and he came out with like the Barkleys with the black with the splash of purple and white. I always loved those. Bo Jackson, I was a big fan of Bo Jackson growing up and watching him play
Right.
baseball and football. And when his sneakers came out, I got those, and that was like a big thing back then. And Deion Sanders, I was a big fan of Deion Sanders. He played with the
Right.
Falcons, and then played baseball with the Yankees and the Braves. And I remember getting his sneakers, the Diamond Turf. I was like maybe
Yeah.
93, I think it was '94. So I liked a lot of of course, Patrick Ewing. I'm a Knicks. I grew up a Knicks fan, and when he came out with the Adidas, Patrick Ewing's, and then he came out with his own line of sneakers, I remember getting those,
Right.
and that was
Right.
like a big thing in school, and um, it's a lot, man. I know I'm probably forgetting. There's just like so many, but like Jordan's definitely, like the ones or the early Jordans, like the ones, the twos, the threes, the fours. I love the tens as well. The eights, I had those Bugs Bunny joints. Um, it's so many, like like I said, like Chuck Taylors. Chuck Taylor, I feel like every sneakerhead should have like a pair of Chuck Taylors because they all comfortable. They have that classic look. It's like a
Right.
West Coast shoe. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot, man.
Right.
It
And
was
yeah,
a
it's
lot.
like and the thing with that is in terms of the sneakerhead collection, you got to have Chuck Taylors in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to have the Adidas Superstar in there, and because they're timeless. Like the old heads, you will rock Chuck Taylors. I
Yeah.
mean, even I went in the store with my mom. She about 70, right?
Mm,
She was like, "Yo, I'm gonna just come in here and find me a pair of Chucks."
right.
I was like, "Chucks? You sure you ain't want no easy walk? You sure you ain't want?" She's like, "Nah, Chucks is comfortable and they fly." And you know what? And when you look at the design, it looked old school, but
Mm,
sometimes that classic styling
right.
is just what you need, whether it's high top or low top.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like with me, I'm not a big fan of. So I'm tall, right? So when I wear high tops, they look like boots, like average height per. People with average height and stuff like that. High tops on them to me look fly. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, it's just too much. You know what I'm saying? Too much going on. Too much. So it's like when you and I talked about the KDs the other day.
Right.
See, I couldn't rock, like, I can't rock that style of KD because,
Mm,
what I'm saying, I wear a size 15 shoe. You
right.
know what I'm saying? So when I get those KDs, they look a mile long. You
Right.
know what I mean? And regardless of what I wear it with, you know what I'm saying, it's still a long looking shoe.
Yeah, that
But
is that
but
is weird because he's never I don't think he's ever released like a high top. It's always been low cut for him.
right.
Yeah, and he's a
Right,
tall guy.
yeah, but man, he taller than us, I think.
Yeah.
So You know, but they still look to, in my opinion, when you see them on the internet though, when you see them on his foot, they
Yeah,
look fly to me.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially he had some Aunt Pearls, I think.
Yeah,
When they were rumored to come out, they,
right,
you know, me and my daughter found them. They leaked somewhere like a picture of them,
right.
and we was like, yo, this is crazy here how fly this looks. But yeah, but I don't know. I don't, in terms of like, a sneakerhead starting a collection. If you go with that superstar, if you go with that Chuck Taylor, I don't think you can go wrong. And then plus, I think you may have to have some type of Puma in there.
Yeah,
And I don't mean like the new ones, because the new ones are all okay. But I'm talking about like
cards. Yeah,
the Clydes from the '70s, when Clyde Frazier was the Michael Jordan of his era in terms of shoes and such.
right.
You know, I mean, you couldn't go wrong, because man, when you're talking about like, the red suede Pumas with the black stripe on it,
Right.
or you talking about the navy blue
Mm-hmm.
suede Puma with the gray stripe on it. So
Right.
you couldn't get no flyer than that, because as a shorty that probably should have been in the house doing homework, I used to be, out sitting on the porch. All the dope boys used to be out, what I'm saying,
Right.
suede Pumas and Kangos. Remember Kango bucket hat,
Yeah.
whatever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that was in my eyes, that was like the flyest. You couldn't get no flyer than that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You got you some Clydes on. You got you a furry Kango
Right.
dog. I felt like you done reached the epitome of
Right.
style.
Yep.
And that's what I used to think back then. This is like, in the '70s. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm way too young to be out looking at these dudes. You know what I'm saying? But the Pumas, dog,
Yeah.
like, and to what you said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the swag is all to one's own. So when
Right.
you got, suede Pumas and the Kango, I don't know how much flyer you can get in that.
Of course. You know. And I mean, even like growing up and buying like the hip hop magazines and seeing like LL Cool J with his Kangol hat on, or
Oh
Dr.
yeah.
Dre with his Fila set on. I mean, that was like the epitome of cool. So I mean, that's how we dressed, back then. And you know, I think they were like some of the like leaders of hip hop fashion at that time. So I always associate like those labels like Fila and Puma with seeing like the rappers, and the athletes with it.
Word, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Let me ask this: do you feel like um, a shoe collector has to have Air Max in their collection in order to be considered a collector?
It's not a must. I think it definitely was a popular line, still is a popular line for Nike, but I mean it's not like a must have in my opinion. If you're like a sneaker collector, it's not like, well, if you don't have these pair of Nike, Tiger print Air Maxes, then what are you doing with your life? You know what I'm saying? So I never like,
Right,
I mean,
right,
I liked it, but I never like ran to get those all the time. I think again because like so many people, like, especially in '95 when the neon green and the gray colorways came out, everybody had them on my block. All my friends had them, and I just was like, well, shit, everybody got them. I don't care to have them. You know what I'm saying? I want something else. Let me get like a
right.
different colorway when it drops. So I'll just get something else that nobody else is rocking. So I mean, even now I look at them like, yeah, they were great, but I never like rushed out to get them. There's
Well,
only
let me
about
let
like
me ask
certain
this.
you have to be like a certain line. Like the Jordan's is Jordan because I love Jordan even though I couldn't stand him when he would play my Knicks. But Jordan,
Right,
like that's like the a classic shoe. Like that's like the hood version of what Gucci is to white people. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got a pair of
right,
Jordans, you get respect. Even now, like you got a pair of clean new Jordans, people look at you different. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So Jordans is different. That's like the exception. But everything else was like, yeah, if I get them, I get them. If I don't, it's not the end of the world.
right. So So let me ask this then. So if you're a collector, do you collect for the sake of the value of your collection, or do you collect for how rare a shoe is, or do you collect, say, for the collecting culture? And I know those all three sound the same,
Right.
but when you dive deep into the shoe game itself,
Yeah.
like who you connect with in order to buy your shoes. For instance, cats that excuse me, shop at, say, a Foot Locker to get their shoes are not in the collector's vein. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to, when you're talking about being a collector, at a minimum basic, you have to at least use StockX. You know what I'm saying? As some to get elite level shoes. You know what I'm saying? Um, So what do you think about that? Do you think it's,
I
you
mean,
know,
I love fashion. I like. I want to wear it. I don't just want to have it, in my closet collecting dust and just for the sake of
right,
having it. I mean, I know people do that. Like, I've seen, a lot of sneakerheads at these conventions. They'll buy like 10 pairs of different sneakers just to never wear them. But I want to actually wear what I'm buying. You know what I'm saying? Like, then no matter what it is,
right,
it could be a hat, it could be a hoodie, whatever. Like, I want to actually wear them. You know what I'm saying? And I've always been the type to keep my things looking neat and in mint condition. I don't want to have like raggedy Jordans on. You know what I'm saying? Or
right,
some dirty Air Forces. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if anything that I always, had, I always took care of them. So, whether it were Jordans or Vans or Pumas or whatever. So I don't. I mean, that's cool for the collectors, but it's like, why? What is the incentive of doing it though? Like, are you just collecting just to collect and brag about it, or are you collecting for a reason? Like, are you gonna actually wear them? Or are you gonna like put them aside for like your kids to know what they are one day? Or I mean, I don't get some of these collectors, and I see it a lot even with music. Like a lot of people, they'll buy like tons of records and keep them sealed, but they'll never play it. So, what is your
right,
incentive of buying that record? Or if you don't never like hear that album, shouldn't you like be
right.
opening up the album and listening to, like, what is your incentive for just like having 10 sealed copies of one album, but you never listen to that album?
Yeah. That's the investor piece of it. Like people will buy those knowing that, say, in 17, 18, 19, 20 years from the time that they got it,
Right,
that product may have increased in value. But that's a gamble because
right,
you don't know if the vibes are going to still be the same.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the people that bought records and kept them sealed.
Mm,
When CDs came out, the record industry took a, I'm not talking about the record industry in general. I'm talking about the actual product, the record, the plastic, the vinyl,
right,
took a hit because we never knew if we were ever going to go back to vinyl. You had to kind of ride that dip, and then hopefully, there'd be a renaissance period where people would say get more affection for the vinyl again. So
right.
they took a huge risk. You know what I'm saying? And it took like maybe 20 years for it to bounce back. But in terms of sneakers, though, in terms of sneakers, personally, I'm one that like treasures the moment. Like for instance, I give you an example, and this might sound a little soft or whatever. Like when me and you have a conversation about something, right?
Right.
I'm not one that is like ready to tell everybody, yo, me and Try talked about such and such and such and such. I'm the person that's like, during the conversation is when I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Just like if I buy this, like when I buy the shoe, right?
right.
And like I'm not ready, like I don't get impressed by telling people that I have such and such number of Jordans. My pleasure comes from rocking the Jordans. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Right.
But people are different. So people are different. Like for some, having a couple of people that I mix it up with, chop it up with on Twitter,
Yeah.
their pleasure is having their Jordan collection where they can go in and be to themselves with their collection because they know where they came from. They may have come from a place where their parents couldn't afford to buy them sneakers at all.
Right.
So they go into their closets or that space that they designated for their collection and just go in there and think about how far they've come from a certain place. You know what I'm saying? So people have like their different motivations or whatever. But for me, though, as somebody that likes to collect, is I'm in the moment. Like for instance, if I'm going to visit my son, say he lived probably about 3 hours away. So when I go see him, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna put these joints on, man. I'm gonna go see my boy. You know what I'm saying? See, this is my moment. That's the moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Like for some, it's their moment is the time of purchase. Like they can't believe they found such and such at such and such price. So that's their euphoria moment, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But so let me ask this, and I'll get back to that top five collector thing. But
Yeah.
so do you so what was your highest euphoria moment when you made a purchase? Like what purchase of a sneaker was like, yo, this is life right now?
Um. Wow. Probably I want to say Jordan, maybe Jordan 5s. I want to say, yeah, because that was like one of my favorites, and watching Jordan in the games, like destroy teams with that shoe on, and
Right,
I don't know, just look. I always loved black, so anything with like black and red,
right,
there's certain colorways that I love, that I gravitate to, blue and white. So the black and red look on most of the Jordans always was like my thing. So with those.
So let me ask. So at the time that you made the purchase, were you already like settled in life? Were you like
I
already
was
on your
I was
job?
this is
Already
funny.
had bread?
I was what grade I was in? Maybe sixth grade, I think. I was
Okay,
like young. I
okay,
was like, this is like when I was shorty, you know what I'm saying? But um
right,
it was, what I'm saying, because I wasn't like Jordans was expensive back then. So it wasn't like I was out getting every pair of Jordans. Like we got the Jordans that we could, you know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah, like that was like one that I really wanted, you know what I'm saying? And I remember like getting, back when Starter used to make like the NBA hats, and I remember getting the Chicago Bulls. And it's so crazy
right,
because I couldn't stand the Bulls when they played the Knicks, but it like just, I feel like you have to match up the Jordans with the Bulls hat. So I remember getting a Bulls hat with the Jordans and going to school, and everybody like, yo, that little shit look fly, you know what I'm saying? So
right,
like, yeah,
right,
it was great, but it's like, yo, like I remember those battles with Jordan and the Knicks, and those were heartbreaking for us as a Knicks fans. So it just was like, it's weird because I feel like that even with LeBron, like I don't have that. Like I used to hate LeBron when he left Cleveland, and I don't know why, because I'm not a LeBron fan, but he's a great player. But I felt like that whole thing with him leaving and everything on ESPN and all that, and it was kind of like that type of hatred for LeBron, but not the same, because like Jordan was just Jordan. Like he was, you know what I'm saying? Like the
right.
battles he had with New York was just crazy. But like, yeah, like those sneakers were like, like that moment, like having those. You know what I'm saying? I know, like I'm not
Right.
gonna get every pair of Jordans that come out. You know what I'm saying? So um, yeah, those come to
Oh
mind.
no,
It's probably a few others.
no doubt, no doubt. And the reason why I ask is because, um, so just like in life with a lot of other stuff, like with his houses or cars, whatever. Your purchases depend on what you can realistically afford at the
Right,
time,
right,
and at the same time, what's relevant to you, what I'm saying, as a person.
yeah,
And so and the reason why, and I asked the question is because I bought two pair of shoes at once, right? And I bought three pair of shoes at once, and I almost bought four. But and the reason, and what I was saying, what happened was I was working for a temp service, man. I just got out of the military,
right,
um, I had been in a car accident and broke my leg and hip and such. So I was laid up and couldn't work for like a year. Couldn't walk, couldn't hardly do. So I finally get to the point where, I can walk halfway decent, but then still I was like 22 years old, limping like an old man, um, working a temp job that wasn't paying no money. And so I finally got up some money where I think I might have had I may have had like $400 or $500, right, just to myself after bills and stuff were paid, right? And so I was like, do I go buy this PlayStation, what I'm saying, or do I save this money? So I go in the spot. I'm like, yo, where y'all PlayStations at? And she like, we ain't got none. I'm like, yo, y'all got a sign on the window outside. The PlayStation's here. She's like, we sold out. And I'm like, well, why you ain't take the damn sign down? She's like, we ain't got no PlayStations, man. Get away from me. So now I'm in the mall, right? I'm in the mall. I got the money in my pocket for the PlayStation, right? Can't get a play. I'm going to all these stores. Nobody got a PlayStation. Nobody got the PlayStations, right? This is when PlayStation first came. I'm talking about the PlayStation 1, right? So this is like, the big box joint, the one that looked like the VCR. So I'm like going around, like, look, I'm like, yo, you ain't got no PlayStation? Nah, we ain't gonna have none until Friday. And I'm like, well, shit, it's Saturday.
Right.
So I gotta wait a whole week. Yeah, you gotta wait a whole week. So anyway, I'm walking out the store, and I see this display at Foot Action. Foot Action has this big poster where Gary Payton is throwing a lob on one window, right? And it's got his shoe, the one with the latch on it, right, on one window. And naturally it takes you to the other window, and you see Sean Kemp on the other side catching the lob, and throwing it down, and it's got the Sean Kemp shoe, the Reebok, right? So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I go on the inside. Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I think we lost Triborough. I must have did something to the mic. All right, hold on, everybody. I think I lost Triborough, and I think I may have lost my volume. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, yeah, I'm good. So I was telling Triborough about me walking through the mall with what I thought was a pocket full of money, about $400. To some people, $400 is, was nothing in like 95, 94, 95, whenever it was, whenever PlayStation came out. You know, I had been down, I had went through a rough stretch, and some of y'all out there, have gone through rough stretches too, also. But my point was the come up, like, what happens when you kind of bounce back and make that purchase. I'm gonna see if I can get Triborough back in here real quick. Let me see. Let me see if I can find Triborough. Yeah, he ain't in here. Let me see. Invite Triborough. All right. There he is. How the volume is now, boss?
Okay. It's all good.
Okay. All right. I was trying to work on these settings here.
Right.
I didn't know what happened. But so I'll just finish up with this real quick about the purchase that I made. So I had got out of the military. I had been through some stuff in the military, man.
Right.
Some old veteran GI stuff that we could probably talk about, in a different, on a different segment or show, whatever. But I got out. I was going through some mental and emotional stuff for the military. I guess now we call it PTSD, but I didn't know what it was back then. I just knew I was going through some stuff.
Right.
So got out, had went through some stuff, got in a car accident, hurt myself, and was down for a year. And so I finally kind of saw like this light at the end of the tunnel, man, where, I was just kind of feeling better about myself and stuff, and was, moving in a more positive direction or whatever.
Right.
And so trying to buy the PlayStation, all of them were sold out. And so I see this thing, I go in the store, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. These Gary Paytons is crazy. So I look at them, and I'm like, yo, y'all got these in my size? And the girl's like, yup. The girl is like, yup. And I'm like, well, good. You know what I'm saying? And so she was like, hey, have you seen these Rain Man joints? And I was like, I saw some in the window, so let me check them out.
Right.
And so she bought them, and they were like the 3/4, like they wasn't high tops and wasn't low tops either. They were like 3/4 joints.
Mm.
But they looked different. They looked as if they were like lows. They were like, so, they were, I think there's like lows, mids, and highs. And I didn't know what, because there's a difference between the way the mids are made.
Right.
So these mids were made like they were low. So I'm looking at them, I was like, yo. And then plus one of the most slept on things in the sneaker game. eyelets, like the eyelets, the way the eyelets are shaped and the way they position. They
Uh-huh.
make your shoe, you know what I'm saying? They make your shoe fire, you know. So I like the Rain Mans had the silver eyelets, right, with the black with the thick black strings.
Mhm.
And I was like, yo, this is fire. Y'all got these in my size. She was like, yup. The truck. She was like, the truck is in the back right now. We got everybody's size.
Right.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. And so she went in the back. She got the road. She got the road joints and the home joints, the Gary Paytons.
Yeah.
So when she brought them out, I was like, yo, I got to get both of these. I got to get these black ones with the white Nike check, you know what I'm saying? With the sock on it, yeah. And I got to get the other ones too. So I wound up getting like the GPs and the Sean Kemps. And she was like, yo, you know, if you spend over $200, you get 20% off. And I was like, what? I look at the sign and it's a sign over there. So I'm like, this is crazy. And so she was like, have you seen the Scottie Pippins? And I was like, Scottie Pippins got a shoe?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, check them out. And so the first pair of Scottie Pippins I didn't even know my man had a signature shoe. It might have been his first.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, y'all got these in black? And she was like, yo, if you get these in black, I'm gonna throw in this 12-pack of Nike socks with it.
Right.
So I wound up going. I'm getting like the Sean Kemps, the Scottie Pippins, both Gary Paytons, and the Nike anklets with the white Nike swoosh on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, this right here is crazy, and it presented like that euphoria moment that I touched on earlier, like how you come from a certain place and you finally able to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? With some, you know, you got your bread, you're in the right mindset. All the things are falling into place for you to make this purchase. And so I wound up getting all these shoes. And that's that moment for me, like, you know what? I can do this thing right here. I can buy shoes and collect, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And rock them. I can rock these shoes all in different times.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, man, that was that euphoria moment for me. That's why I was asking you, like, you know.
It's always nice to, with anything, to like something new, like if it's a new car, a new house, new sneakers, you know what I'm saying? It's always nice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very about that. But yeah, like that memory of the Jordan 5 stuck out in my head. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, and I've had Jordans before then, but it was like, I just wanted those. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's no other way to explain it. I just wanted those, and you know, and again, like I said, like people treat you differently when you got a new pair of Jordans on your feet for whatever reason. It's not the same type of reaction like if you had a new pair of Adidas or Feelers on your feet. Like Jordans, they just always stuck out. You know what I'm saying? So people always, you know, treat you different.
Right. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. I say that too, and so there was another pair of shoes I wanted to get, like the ruby red Jordan 11s, right? And I would see them, but so right now I'm in a different place financially where I can afford to get the shoes,
right?
But I would prefer to spend money on other stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like at this time, like where I am in my life now, I would rather, you know what I'm saying, instead of spending $300 on some shoes, I'd rather maybe pay my daughter a phone bill or, you know what I'm saying, something like that. Right. So, but for Christmas this year, I had been hinting, not for Christmas, I'm sorry, for my birthday. I had been hinting for years, like, yo, why don't y'all buy y'all old man some sneakers? I've been buying y'all shoes y'all whole life. Y'all like 25 years old. They never bought y'all own shoe. And they laugh, ha, ha, ha. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, why don't y'all buy y'all old man some shoes? So they like, man, ain't nobody buying you. They like, my boys, they talk kind of like Uncle Freezy. They be like, hey, you're a grown man, buy your own shoe. So they talk like me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they like, I handed it to my youngest son, you know, he like, hey man, I ain't buying no grown man no shoes. What's wrong with you? This ain't pimping. You ain't gonna pimp me out. I ain't buying. So anyway, my birthday come, and my wife comes in and drops like this bag on the bed. She like, "Happy birthday." This is, whatever.
Right.
I see it's a shoebox. I'm like, "Yo, this is what is this?" She's like, "Happy birthday. This is what everybody, what I'm saying, tip that they got for you."
Right.
So they got me a pair of basketball shorts. Like when you said basketball shorts earlier,
Yeah.
I laughed because that's another thing I like to collect. You know what I'm saying? like to collect stuff. But so they buy me some. I think the Knicks website say they are the road workout shorts or something crazy. Anyway, it's some fancy name for them overcharging me for some basketball shorts, basically. And so, but the box is Jordans. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, y'all bought me some Jordans, bruh. When I look at the box, I'll tell you this: Jordan Brand does their thing with
Oh yeah.
presentation.
Yep.
The presentation, man. So I look at the box and it's got the big 11 on the top,
Mm-hmm.
and underneath I can see the mesh wrapping,
Right.
and I can see all the, I can see the certification ticket, the thing you get to certify that
Yeah.
the Jordans are authentic or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, man, and I open the box. It's the ruby red Jordan 11,
Fire.
right, bruh. So I look, man. I'm looking at these things. I'm like, yo, I cannot believe
Mm.
how beautiful these things are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some shoes, man, are just, you know, some shoes are just so beautiful when you look at like the craftsmanship of it,
Right.
the attention to detail, the small things like where the stitching is, you know what I'm saying, and how the gum bottom is super clean when they
Mm-hmm.
brand new, you know what I'm saying? So you like, yeah, man, this is, you know, I take them out the box, man, and I put them on, and I'm like, this is a sneakerhead dream right here. You know what I'm saying? This
Dope.
is a sneakerhead dream. But anyway, I digress about the Jordan 11s, man. About my fascination with them. You know. Um, so what would make somebody say take time out of their busy life to be a sneaker collector?
Um, I think it's all come down to the passion, like how passionate you are about, sneakers and, you know, um, having every pair that you ever wanted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, like, you, you have to be really passionate about sneakers to stand online for like, for days or, and for waiting for a sneaker drop. And,
Right.
camping out. I've never done that. I've never like camped outside or waited for any I've done that with movies, but I haven't done that with sneakers or anything. So you got to be pretty passionate to wait out in the cold online for a pair of Jordans. That's I think that's a true sneakerhead. You can bundle up in like -5 degrees and wait for the newest Jordans to release in stores.
Right.
And I think that's when like, yo, like, I'm a sneakerhead. It's official. And how far they willing to travel also. I mean, because there might be sneaker release in different states compared to the one that you're in that you might want to go and take that road trip for. I've heard people go to Chicago for a pair of sneakers, and they might have lived in New York or in Boston or something. So you
Right.
gotta like that's when like you're a true sneakerhead. Like when you're willing to go to those limits, to go to like a couple of other states and get that release or stand online for hours or camp out or spend like a ridiculous amount of money. That's when like you're like a real true sneakerhead.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a very good point, and I guess it depends on um, how exclusive
Right.
the
That's
people are, like what you mentioned.
mm,
Um, I guess it depends on um, price points also.
mm,
Um, you know, and the reason, and because I had this debate with somebody
mm,
before, I still feel like I may be right, but the thing with me is, even though I feel right, I always like to listen to different people's opinion
Right.
just to make sure that I'm taking away something from the conversation and not just. But with the Roches, the Nike the Nikes,
Yeah.
like there were some like if you spend $90, then you probably right in the target area. You know what I'm saying? But say so I live in South Carolina down by the Nike outlet, right?
Right.
I get people asking me all the time like, yo, have you seen such and such Roches? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, they down here in every color. You know what I'm saying? And they like, man, but we can't find them up here. And then they like 130. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, y'all paying 130? Y'all crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I understand that the pricing should, the pricing is all dependent on what the area where you live, and so the availability and all of that stuff. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to? Do you have like a go-to pair?
Go to pair as Jordans. I have like I bought a pair of Jordans like maybe like 2 years ago. That's like my go-to pair because it's all black and red again. I love the black and red classic look. Now it's not really I used to have a go-to pairs back like way back. Not anymore. Now it's like whatever I feel like wearing, like to go to the supermarket or to the movies with. You know what I mean? I might throw on a pair of Vans. I got a pair of Vans that I haven't even worn yet. Like they're like the checkerboard.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't even worn them yet. You know what I'm saying? Because unfortunately, like everything that happened. You know what I'm saying? But it could be anything. Whatever I feel like wearing when I get up. Cause it's, back in the day, I used to have like a go-to. I used to have like the Air Forces. Like I gotta wear these Air Forces, the all white ones for the summer. Or what else I used to wear? Like the Jordan 12s. I had those. The Jordan
Right.
8s. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really have like a go-to pair. Just whatever I feel like wearing when I get up.
So I'll tell you what and I know this seems real lazy or whatever, man, but so my go-tos are the Nike foam slides. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So those are my go-to, and it's just because of the area of the country I live in. Usually it's mostly warm most of the time, or depending on the situation, I might just be going somewhere just to jump in and out, like what you said, the grocery store or something.
Right.
Like like if I'm just if down here, if I'm just going to the grocery store in the wintertime, I throw on some basketball shorts and some Nike slides. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just getting out the car, going straight in the store, coming out the store, and going back in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I have like this weird collection of the Nike slides, like the foam, the gel slides, or whatever.
Right.
So I probably buy like 4 or 5 pair of those a year, because I feel like just like what I said, just like when I'm doing the kind of habit do you call it? When I'm just doing the in and outs,
Right.
I just like to wear those, but I also don't like for them to be dirty.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing, one of the worst things on earth is dirty shoes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Oh, that just, yeah.
Sure.
Dog, don't, hey man, I don't judge nobody, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, to each their own.
Right.
But if you run me with dirty shoes on, you get judged. And I be trying to hold it, but I be like, dirty shoes scream meth lab to me.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I definitely. I got a pair of Adidas slides like these. Like I wear these a lot now. They're comfortable, and and even like walking with them around the house. Like I always make sure like they're not like messed up. I'm saying I'm always checking. So, and these are just slides. It's not even like regular sneakers. So.
Right. Like the ones I get, I think they're like 45. Well, no, they're not. They're like $65, right? So I'm like, and so the missus is like, yo, why you keep buying the same slides over and over? They like sometimes I'll be wearing Mitch Mac ones, but you know what I'm saying. But And she's like, yo, why do you keep on the same one? They're like, and I'm like, I just can't, even though I'm walking from the door to the mailbox,
Mm.
or if I'm just getting in the whip to go pick up some fast food from somewhere, you know what I'm saying? From the Chinese place or the Arab or something, you know what I'm saying? I still feel like I gotta rock some fresh kicks.
Yeah.
I don't do that at work. At work, I intentionally like wear a beat up pair because at any given moment somebody can drop something on me and my shoes will be ruined. You know what I'm saying? So like somebody drops some chemicals on me or I step in some chemicals
Man.
or something, anything, and my shoes will be ruined, and that's like $200 down the drain. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do that. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
different
But
because it's like that's work. You know what I'm saying? Like I made that mistake. I remember like I want to say like way back in the '90s, like when I started buying Timbs. I made that mistake like I was helping my aunt like paint like her hallway, and I had those Timbs on. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have no other like like beat up shoes to
right,
use. I wore my Timbs and I messed those up, and it's hard to get paint out of Timbs. So I like
right,
never.
they
I learned
ruin.
my lesson. Yeah, I learned my lesson after that. So I was like, nah, never again. I gotta wear something that's worn or something if I do
Because
something like that.
even if you get the color off, the fabric is ruined. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So because I went into like, all right, so I stopped collecting Timbs
Mm.
years ago because here in South Carolina, I used to wear Timbs to make a statement. Like I used to wear Timbs to let everybody know I was from New Jersey, basically. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Everybody else was wearing like comfortable, and I'd be in Timbs. It'd be 90 degrees, and I'd be in cut off shirts and Timbs. You
We
know
used
what
to
I'm
do
saying?
that. We used to do that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, but as I got older, I was like, nah, I ain't
Right.
really going,
Right.
because they don't serve a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can wear slides on a cold day, I don't ever need to wear Timbs no more. Yeah, basically is my reasoning for it.
Mm.
But so yeah, so Nike slides are my go-to, and when I say Nike slides, I don't mean any slides now. I mean it's the same ones time after time. I buy the same ones, white ones, black ones, white ones, black ones.
Right.
So because I bought a pair of Under Armour slides one year. I was walking through Dick's Sporting Goods,
Right.
and they just happened to have my size. I bumped into them, I saw them, and I wore them, and I was like, so I got them, and I was like, they not the same. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes shoes just fit you. You know what I'm saying? Just fit who you are as a person. They call out your name, and when you get them, it's like love at first sight, and they
Right.
functional.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like my wife likes the orange Nike slides, the
Mm.
ones you see
Okay.
everybody need. So she loved those. She
Right.
like wear one pair out and then go get another pair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Um, um, yeah, man. So what accessories do we need to have if I'm a sneaker collector? Do I have to have a super tight hat game?
Yeah. I mean, if you like wearing hats, that would be definitely. I mean, definitely because you can always match up your hats with your kicks and socks. Now the sock um culture is really big, and that's something that wasn't around back in the day. Like they have like socks for like different kicks and patterns and colors, and the sock game is really huge. That's a nice accessory, and you know um of course the shorts. If it's summertime or the joggers. Well, joggers look good with any pair of kicks, but definitely the
Yeah.
hat game and the sock game is a must now. So I always like even when like when I buy like kicks, I always try to match up with my hats. You know what I'm saying? With Vans is harder with Vans because like unless you're like buying like the regular basic colors of Vans, but like with like I like a lot of patterns. So with
Right.
the patterns, it's always hard to match up with the hats unless they have, because they have some hats with Vans. Like I have a bucket hat that matches a pair of my of some Vans I got like a couple years ago.
Wow.
Vans are always hard, at least for me to match up with. But like when it comes to like Jordans and the regular sneakers, it's easy. So and then like now with the socks, you can really swag it out.
Yeah, man. Yeah. My only thing is man, with hats, it's hard for me to store them.
Like
You know what I'm saying? That's my only deal. When I was in the military, I probably had like 200 hats, man. But I could hang them on my wall because I was a bachelor. You know what I'm saying? I was a bachelor. You know what I'm saying? You just put your hooks on the wall and just hang them up, man. You put them in order by color or team or whatever,
right,
however you like to organize. But once you get older, you realize, I don't know if my wife's gonna like me having hats in the living room. You know what I'm saying? Or hats in the closet. So many hats in the closet that you don't have no room to put others, like hang your ties and all that stuff. Yeah, man. I love hats, but now I'm more diversified in that hat game. Like I'm going through a trucker hat stage right now.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I just like to write those. I went through a stage of doing more of the safari style. So for people that don't know, so there's a bucket hat, and then beyond that is the safari style hat with the string on it and all that around the headband. Yeah. So I went through a stage of that. But like I mentioned though, after a while, it's kind of hard for you to store them because you don't want to just put your hats in a box because then they stop losing their shape, and then at the same time, if you start hanging them up, there's just where do you have room at some point?
I mean, now they have, for the hat collectors, they have like in like duffel bags to store your hats and keep them safe from like dust and
Wow.
getting damaged or whatever. They have duffel bags. I never use duffel bags. I always use like like the plastic covering from like, could have been like from a coat or something, and I'll keep the plastic and just protect them like that. Instead of putting them in boxes. I don't really care for like a lot of boxes, having a lot of boxes around it breeds like bugs and stuff. So I never kept like a lot of boxes and stuff. So I always try to protect the hat. I used to put my hats in like my drawer and just make room. Like I would have like one drawer on my dressing table like for my hats.
Right.
And then it started becoming like too much, so I had to like just take them out of that drawer and just put them in like a big like plastic covering. You know what I'm saying? And it's worked like for pretty much for that time. You know what I'm saying? But I know I probably might have to get like a duffel bag.
Yeah, eventually, man. Like so for the crib, so the crib where we at now, man. It's not big, so we don't have a lot of space in. But so the kids are gone, so it's like it goes from being super cramped, and you know what I'm saying, or not super cramped. It's like so we went from the kids were like, and I call them they adults, man. But what I'm saying is they were here, now they eventually leaving, so now we have more and more space to do stuff with, right? The only thing though is I don't know if expanding the hat collection out is the move right now. What I may do is buy one of those man caves, you know what I'm saying, and then just move the shoe collection and hats and all that stuff in there, like put a pool table in there, a TV, something, and not nothing big, man. Maybe about I might try to get something like maybe 1,300 square foot, where I can just, have the studio in there, like where I can do YouTube videos, shoot some pool, watch the game, smoke some cigars, drink some cognac or something, and, saying when the boys come over. Because it's one thing, like, when the So when the fellas come over, it always start off innocent, but we always wind up sprawling out all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Because the conversation always go in like 1,000 different. You never know. You know what I'm saying, when you have your homeboys over or whatever.
Right.
And I know a lot of folks, we kind of get away from that too because of the things with COVID or whatever. But once we get past the quarantine and all that stuff, we'll get back to doing more stuff. But what I generally like to do is entertain. Like, have the peeps come over, and we'll either sit because you sit on the back porch, man, and smoke some cigars and talk about the Knicks, or they like to talk about the Cowboys, man. I hate the Cowboys, man. But where I am, everybody is like Cowboys, Panthers, or Falcons fans, right? So. But so
you see the team I'm wearing. It's all Giants for me. So
right, no doubt. I got my cousin Bub is a Giants fan, right. and so for the longest time, his deal was the Giants are an old school classic organization, kind of like the Yankees of football in a way, just not as well run. But their belief system was that, like, we're a classic organization. We're not going to follow trends and all that stuff. We're just going to be a family-owned, joint, and we're just going to try to be in that mold. And so when the trends were coming out, like these RPO quarterbacks or these 3-4 defenses and all these things, he's like, man, we ain't going to do that. We're going to go ahead and rock on with what we got.
Right.
So let me ask you this. So do you believe in Daniel Jones?
I do. I think, I think, New York, we're so spoiled on, when we do have good, winning teams and they win it all. And I feel like that's what it was when we had Eli. Eli was a great quarterback, he bought his 2 championships. You know what I'm saying? And I think people didn't want to let go of him. They didn't want to realize that maybe his time was up, and we needed a younger quarterback. One that was mobile, that could run, because Eli couldn't run. And that seems to be the culture now in the NFL. Like, you got to have a running quarterback. Patrick Mahomes. Right. He won the Super Bowl. He's a great quarterback. We got Cam Newton, he's been injured off and on. He's still a mobile quarterback. Russell Wilson, Watson in Houston. So I think we did need that young mobile quarterback. I think for first couple of games it was a learning experience for Danny, and I think I see potential in him. I don't know if he's gonna be like a great quarterback. I do see potential in him. I think we got to give him time, a little bit of time to get used to the NFL game and the speed of it, and not try to put too much pressure on him. I mean, it's hard to play in a big city like New York, so people want expectations now. They don't. I mean, I always say that about the Knicks. Like, I want us to win now. I don't want to wait till 10, 20 years down the line. So that's for every team in the city. Like, I think we just got to be a little bit patient with him. I definitely see growth. I think he will do good tonight. They're playing the Steelers. I expect a good game from the whole team, not just him. But we got to give him, be patient with him, and I think good things will happen.
I think, to be honest with you, man, I think that the Giants are headed in the right direction organizationally. I think what Giants fans will have to do, and it's not one of those things that Giants fans or Knicks fans or Yankees fans are accustomed to, is they have to be patient.
Right.
Like no quarterback is going to come to that city and just take the world by storm.
Right.
I mean, I think what happens is with New Yorkers is they have this mindset that one guy can change everything because they have a record of one guy coming to the city and changing everything. And so you can go whether you can go back to Mark Messier when the Rangers went through that long drought
Right.
of not winning anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, maybe we're one piece away, and they went out and got Mark Messier,
Yep.
and then they got their Stanley Cup, right?
Right.
And the same thing with the one guy changes everything theory with Joe Namath.
Mhm.
Joe Namath, messed around and took the Jets to the Super Bowl and beat a behemoth in the Baltimore Colts. The Colts should have wiped the floor with the Jets. But that braggadocious one guy fixes everything thing won for the Jets, and it's the same thing with your Reggie Jacksons.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? The Yankees didn't win diddly until they got Reggie Jackson, and then
Right.
the same thing with your Lawrence Taylors. You draft a Lawrence Taylor who's a once in a lifetime. And people I say it in football, but Lawrence Taylor is a once in a lifetime sports athlete. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He was
Because 6'3", 6'3", 250,
Mhm.
he running 4.4s. I saw him, and I saw this live. I saw him get cut blocked, right?
Mhm.
Off the side of the field, they throw a pass to the 49ers running back, Roger Craig. Right, Roger Craig catches the football, like jumps and catches it,
Right.
and when he comes down, he gets nailed, right? Guess who it is?
Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
Yep.
He got cut block on the other side of the play, got up, ran the play down, and hit this dude for a tackle for loss.
Crazy.
You don't see stuff. That's a physical specimen, and then to have that dog in them like that, I think New Yorkers are they get that, and they have the right to, because for one, they pay the most for cable prices. They pay the most for tickets. They pay the most for apparel. So they don't have time. They invest a lot. They don't want to pay for a bad product. You know what I mean? So, but the thing is with Danny Dimes though is, and I told myself I was going to call him Danny Dimes, but the thing with Daniel Jones is they're revamping their offensive line. They have a generational running back. They have a good group of receivers. The defense is a work in progress. It's one of those deals where they should just take the long view with the Giants and maybe look, instead of trying to win one Super Bowl this year and mortgage in the future, they should look to win a bunch of Super Bowls in 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Be a contender every year with Daniel Jones, because the worst thing you can do in New York is ruin a quarterback and then end up with Sam Darnold.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, but people think Darnold is bad. I think Darnold is for what he has with the Jets, they don't have no weapons around him, but I think he's a decent quarterback. He's definitely a lot better than the quarterbacks they had over the years before him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to say he's probably the best Jets quarterback since what? Sam what's his name? Bennington? Who had his name? The dude
Chad Pennington.
Pennington. Yeah. Pennington took them to the playoffs a couple times. Like, he was.
But they had receivers too. Remember, they had Santana Moss and Lavernius Cole.
Right. I think they still had Wayne Corbett at that point.
Yeah, Wayne Corbett. Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was a great just player, and like they made some mistakes when it comes to quarterbacks, in the past. But I think Darnold is they just need some weapons for Darnold. But I think Darnold is a decent quarterback.
Yeah,
there's only so much you could do as a quarterback when you ain't got no weapons surrounding you. So
that is true. That is true, and the same can be said for Eli, because there were some stretches of games where Eli looked super mortal, like he looked like an average quarterback, and Odell Beckham would take like a 11-yard pass and take it 77 yards for a touchdown, or Mario Manningham would make the catch of his life every week. You're like, how was Mario Manningham making a catch of his life every week? You can't say it's the catch of his life if he do it every week. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he kept in the Super Bowl against the sideline. Probably Eli throw to David Tyree was lucky because he should have been sacked If the referee had blown the whistle when he was in the grass,
right.
the whole narrative would have been different.
Different.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
We know that. We know that.
But he didn't. He got the pass off. Tyree made a hell of a catch, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
But the
That
Manningham
touchdown to
throw,
Plaxico, and that was it. Once he threw that touchdown to Plaxico, I knew that we won the game, and that
yep,
was it.
yep.
So
Because
that was a great season.
the Patriots was looking to just throw a home run to Randy Moss because it bails them out all
Right.
year. They were like,
Right.
hey, whatever we get down, just throw it as far as you can to Randy Moss, and he'll bail us out.
And
Instead of
Randy made it a point to, like, because he never won a ring, he wanted that ring, and I felt like we was the fly in that ointment for him not getting that ring. That was a great Super Bowl. I loved it.
Yep, yep, yep. Because for one, the narrative of a team going undefeated is one in the NFL is one that you don't
Yeah.
see often. You know what I'm saying? When the Dolphins were undefeated, I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? I was a little shorty walking around. You know what I'm saying? Whenever that was, I was too young to even. I probably knew football, but I didn't know the significance of what
Right.
was going on. But the thing with the Patriots, though, the Patriots taking the league by storm, becoming the greatest football dynasty ever, and for them to go undefeated would have been like the cherry on top for Patriots fans. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, certain things are just, you know, I look at the Patriots as cheaters, and even though I try not to look at it that way, I can't help it. It's like, you know, just like I think what's his name, and I hate quoting cartoons, but my man from the Boondocks said the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence, or something crazy like that, and that's basically what it is with the Patriots cheating. But yeah, I think the Giants will be okay. You alluded to my Knicks, man, and you know, not to hold you too long, but the whole thing with our Knicks, though, man, is I think what we have to do is fall out of love with certain players and bring in some guys that want to win, that have the ability to win, and go from there. Like I'm a Frank Ntilikina fan, but I'm not a fan of his play on the court, if that makes any sense. You know, because the thing is I'm a Frank fan because his backstory is his home country in Africa was going through like the Civil War or whatever, and his mom snuck him and his brothers out of the home country and smuggled them to France in the middle of the night before the people that were coming doing the killing, they come to their village. You know what I'm saying? So she snuck Frank out as a baby, like hours before they came, and could have got murdered. You know what I'm saying? So Frank grew up in France, not understanding the significance of what his mom did until he got older. You know what I'm saying? And so stories like that kind of intrigue me about how people overcome stuff. And I guess the story is less about Frank himself, but more about what his family did to make sure that they were safe and could. And so the kid that got snuck out in the middle of the night before some rebels came to sack their village winds up playing point guard for our team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those deals where I can kind of appreciate Frank, the person. You know what I'm saying? But 6 points a game, the number 9 pick, number 8 pick, nah. I ain't. I ain't no.
I feel like with New York fans in general are loyal. Like if you're losing, we still go on. I mean, Knicks been selling out forever, and they've been having losing seasons. I've been to a lot of those games when it's a packed house, but we want to see effort. We want to see at least if we don't win the division, try to be a wild card. Like we're not asking the Giants to go all the way this year, but if you're gonna, like try to make that effort to be in the wild card conversation. Same for the Knicks. Like you don't have to make the finals, but try to be the number 8 seed or within, a couple games of number 8. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want. We want the effort. You know what I'm saying? Because at least if you're showing us that you're trying to win, we're going to support you. And we're going to support you even when you're losing, but we're going to support you even more when you're showing that effort. And I don't feel like some of these new teams have done that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I got to be a Knicks fan because I've always been a Knicks fan. I can't root for nobody else. So I want that effort from them. You know what I'm saying? I want us to get to that mountaintop when it's like, okay, it's our year to win. I want to go to the Knicks parade. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't done that.
Right. I agree with you. My only beef, right, and this has been my beef since I've been a Knicks fan.
Right.
So veterans will take the bag to come to New York and ride out the contract. And that bothers me. And that's the same thing that you alluded to, like playing hard and all that. Man, that bothered me. I remember like the Marvin Websters getting the bag and then coming to New York and average 8 points. Like you was a human eraser, and then you get here and you don't erase nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember like dudes like they come here like man, the Kiki Vanderways wanted to come here and play because his pops played here, and then get here, get the bag, and then stay hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I think he averaged like 24 a game in Denver and getting here and averaged 13. And you're like, yo, man, you average like 24 for like 5 straight years, and you get here, you average like 13 points. And that's one of the things, one of the reasons why I don't want to trade away. Like, I don't want to trade for Devin Booker.
Right.
People are like, hey, man, he proven commodity. He did such and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I already seen this story before. I already seen these dudes, score these points in these small markets and get to New York, and then, can't do diddly.
That happened with the Mets, too. Like, if you remember, when we got Jason Bay was a big player for the Pirates. Come here, got to play like crap. We got Mo Vaughn. Mo Vaughn was a big player for the Red Sox. Came over here, played like crap. So, Bobby Bonilla,
fat motherfucker. Again, I hate Mo Vaughn.
you remember Bobby Bonilla? When Bonilla played with the Bonds, that was like the black version of the Basham brothers for the Pirates. Right. Put big numbers. When we come here, we came to New York to the Mets. We give him the bag. Right. I think they just like his money just got off the books. He played like crap.
I read the Todd Zales, your Paul LaDucas,
right?
Yeah, John Olerud. Even though Olerud played the hell out of first base now, but his power disappeared. Yeah. He had all that power, and he come to Shea, he can't hit that.
Exactly.
So we needed a power hit first base. Now your defense was straight. Right. You know what I'm saying? But even your Roberto Alomar had lost a step when he got here. So even though his defense was slick, you know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, there's a bunch of. Even back in the day, your Dave Kingmans, you know what I'm saying? You hitting 40 home runs a year for Milwaukee, and you get here, you got a, oh my God. George Foster was the league MVP with the Big Red Machine, and then signed with the Mets and can't get his job took by Darryl Strawberry.
Crazy.
So you're like, man. So I feel you. Even big pitching names. I mean, pitchers would come here, take the bag, and they'll have like 1 or 2 good years. And that'll be it. And those other 3 years, they'll just be getting the bag. Man. You know what I'm saying? No output. I'm talking about Tom Glavine, Johan Santana, Pedro Martinez. The list can go on and on. Like they first 1 or 2 years here, they be the top of the town, killing it. And then, but those extra years, you like, ain't doing nothing.
What happened?
Yeah. So man, that's what I'm saying with the Knicks, man. I think we should just probably, I want to win, but more so than anything, I just want to do it the right way. With the Knicks, man, I would love for them to follow a model kind of like San Antonio. Yeah. Like before you even start getting players and before you even start like getting personnel in, get a system that you want to run, that the organization is going to run, regardless of who the GM or the coach or the team president is. You're going to run that system regardless. And then once you get that, then get your players to fit that system. So if Boris Diaw can't get it for you coming off the bench, then you got your what's his name, Ginobili. Or if Ginobili can't do it for you, then Diaw can do it. You know what I'm saying?
The thing with San Antonio is I noticed like the minute they signed the big name free agents like DeRozan and the cat from Portland, I forgot his name. LaMarcus Aldridge. They didn't go to the playoffs. It's like they had like a certain system that they followed that worked well for them for years. And the minute they went out and they spent the money, it didn't work for them. You know what I'm saying? So that's when the team's like, yo, maybe we don't have to go chasing the big name free agents all the time.
Right. Now, you're right. The minute they got Rudy Gay, LaMarcus Aldridge, and DeMar DeRozan, they missed the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of being true to themselves.
Right.
That's my point. That's the point. I mean, the same thing with the Pacers. Like
Mm-hmm.
the Pacers have this system where they not, they frugal. Everybody know they frugal. They cheap. They ain't gonna pay no big time free agents. Like if they can find a free agent that highlight what they already do, and they can get them on the cheap, then they'll bring them in. You know what I'm saying? And treat them like family. At that, treat them like family.
Right.
But they ain't ready to, they ain't ready to throw the bag at no Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? They not get ready to throw the bag at because they believe in their system.
Exactly.
And over the course of the years, when you look at their win percentage stay about, some years they be below 500, but not by much.
Right.
And it may be because of injuries or whatever.
Right.
But for the most part, they got a system that they believe in, and they're gonna stick to it.
Yep.
And I think the thing with the Knicks is we chase the trends. Like Giannis is a free agent next season, or scheduled to be one. We gonna destroy everything that we got in place right now in hopes that Giannis will give us a look next summer. And when he don't, we still destroy it from where we ripped up everything.
Right.
So now we got to start all over again. And then, but when we start all over again, another free agent will be hitting the books in 2023.
I mean, and you would think like after so many disappointments, they would learn a lesson. Like, okay, LeBron wasn't coming, fine. Let's go past. Let's look over that. You know what I'm saying? All these
Right.
other free agents that wasn't coming. It's like Durant said no, Kyrie said no. Like I feel like they're waiting, like they're building a team around the next available free agent. They shouldn't do that. They should just build a team and have like some great role players, so that if the next big free agent that comes along, say, okay, well, let me take a look at New York. At least we got a structure in place. Like the Nets had like great role players already set in place, where
Right.
whether it was Durant and Kyrie, they already had a team. They had LeVert, they had Dinwiddie. You know what I'm saying? So it was like the Nets had a structure. The Knicks need a structure like that, where we have good role players and a good bench,
Right.
so that we're ready. And the next big step will be like getting that big superstar that can take
Right.
us to the finals, and they haven't done that. It's like they're just waiting for the next available free agent, and then when they say no, it's like they scramble to get whoever's available.
Right. And we shouldn't be that way, because I remember one year Isaiah Thomas had torn his Achilles, right? And so Isaiah Thomas was a free agent. He was a free agent not looking for a job, but he was rehabbing. Everybody figured he signed back with the Pistons. He ain't going nowhere. I mean, it's Isaiah Thomas. He ain't never played for nobody else, right? We doing all these things like, yo, we need to get Isaiah. Isaiah Thomas is a winner and all kind of stuff. New York is enamored with Isaiah Thomas. And later on, he wound up finding his way to New York in another capacity, but that's another story. So, but anyway, they're like, yo, we gonna gut the roster to see if we can get Isaiah Thomas. And so they trade away like these young pieces, to make room for Isaiah. And Isaiah just retire. You know what I'm saying? It's a year they like, because people like, yo, can you? And this is what people speculating. Yo, Isaiah Thomas and Grant Hill together. Yo, come on, man. This young cat, Grant Hill. Yeah. And so, in hindsight, you look at it, you like, yo, that might have been something special. Them cats would have had Allen Houston, Isaiah Thomas, Grant Hill, Joe Dumars, all them guys. A mix of the really young guys and the the youth coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But the Knicks basically blew up everything, and Isaiah Thomas didn't come. And then all they had was rubble. And then they go out and like, well, let's go get Doc Rivers from the Clippers.
Right.
And he was a stopgap. You know what I'm saying? So now you had Mo Cheeks, who you traded Rod Strickland for, was a stopgap until you found another stopgap in Isaiah Thomas, to be another stopgap to Derek Harper, to be another stopgap to Chris Childs. So you like, this whole thing is like, it's crazy. I say let's just rebuild, man. Just take our time, because we're gonna lose anyway. We're not gonna win 50 games. If we with Thibodeau, I'm thinking that we'll win about 40 games. Just based off having a good coach on the sideline.
Right.
But Yeah, man.
But
So
I mean, can we? I would think if we win 40 games, that's enough to make the 8 seed. I would think.
I would think so too.
You know.
I would think so. I think the last couple of years, I think the last 5 years we had doofuses for coaches,
Yeah.
especially Fizdale. Especially Fizdale was a clown.
Uh,
I don't even know how. I know how he got the job, but I don't know how he kept it as long. Fizdale was the worst thing. People talk about us drafting Frank at 8,
mm,
but man, hiring Fizdale, bruh, bro, hey, man, yo, people talk about signing Amari Stoudemire to a non-insurable contract was bad. No, David Fizdale, bruh, hey, bruh, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't even be allowed near a basketball court for what he did to Kevin Knox. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, and my even if you draft a bust, right? So I was just gonna call Kevin Knox a bust just for this point, even though I don't think he is, but just for this point. Even if you draft a bust, can you at least put him in position to do stuff that he can do well, right? If Kevin Knox is nothing but an 18-foot jump shooter, can we at least drop some plays where he can get some shots from there?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? He don't have to play. He don't have to play 30 minutes a game. But when he's in the game, he bad on defense, right? He bad on defense. His basketball IQ is low just because he's super young. He can knock down that baseline 18-footer, right?
Right.
How about in some blowout games where we getting the break speed off us? How about you put Knox in there so he can at least eat during that and get some confidence up? Maybe he can learn some other stuff, right? And blowouts, we got damn Hazonia and Noah Vonleh running the offense,
Right.
and Fizdale was like, Mario Hazonia had a triple double tonight. So what? He ain't gonna be here next year. And you know what? And he's not here.
Exactly.
But anyways, bro, I gotta wrap this up, man. The missus is in there cooking. I'm gonna go in there and see what I can do. I'm gonna be the taste tester. Yo, so I gotta do this more with you, man. Because the insight piece for the people that like to watch my I'm the neighborhood YouTuber. Like I get on YouTube or whatever, and people in my neighborhood will stop me, and be like, "Yo, why you ain't talking about the Cowboys? Yo, why you ain't talking about such and such?" You know what I'm saying? What about the sneaker game? You know what I'm saying? So little stuff. So
that's cool.
So yeah, man, we gotta I gotta get on with you, man, so we can talk some grown man stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every now and then. So so anyway, let me plug your joint.
Yeah.
Let me plug your joint. So y'all have to check out That Ain't Rap on YouTube with my man Triborough. It's one of those joints. If you looking for like fancy graphics and people talking real sweet out the mouth with some stuff, that might not be the show for you. But if you're looking for something real, like if you looking for quality and the time that you know what I'm saying, on the stuff that you look at, yo, my man's show is dope because he don't mince words. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to give out these unofficial pats on the back to some people he ain't ever seen before. He just keep it a buck. He keep it real. And I think we need more of that nowadays. And this show is definitely fire. And then he has guests on also, and they'll be in the same vein where they'll be real with you. You know what I'm saying? You basically, what you see is basically what you get. So he was on my man's show, Reg Reviews was on last night. They reviewed Anarchy album by Busta Rhymes. That's a you gotta go check that out, because there was a couple times last night when I think Young Ma, I keep forgetting her name. There was a couple times.
Ashley. Actually,
Man, there was a couple of times I thought she was gonna get super greasy out the mouth over some tracks she heard. but she kept it. She was respectful though.
yeah.
But anyway, you want to unplug anything else?
No, I mean that's basically it. I just, like I said, it's just a podcast I love doing and just sharing my interest with the YouTube community. So um,
Right.
I like. I mean, you might see me on other people's podcasts, like talking about movies and stuff, but it's all stuff that I like and grew up with.
Right, right. And the thing I respect about it is most of the stuff y'all talk about has sincere cultural relevance. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like y'all step out of your lane to try to review something that we're not accustomed to and bring back something new to try to put us on. It's actually stuff that we know about,
Yeah,
but just, you know what I'm saying, y'all reviewing it just make us think more deeply about what it is that we experience, which is
yeah,
dope.
yeah. I feel like keeping. I saw as far as music, like keeping the artists that we grew up with relevant and talking about them goes a long way. Like I mean, like some of the new stuff is cool, but if I can always talk about Mike Geronimo and Lords of the Underground and people like that, then that'll
Right.
keep their memory out there. So,
Word, no doubt. Hey man, I'm gonna wrap this up.
all right,
And then I'm gonna do some of the final post production touches to it. But we got to get together, man, at some point, man, and continue to push these conversations forward. Because the one thing I wanted to do is introduce my audience to Triborough. Y'all go out and check out all his stuff. You know what I'm saying? My man keeps it an absolute buck. And then we'll just go from there. We just want to make sure that we provide quality content, and then B, grow these channels so that we'll get to reach more people like us that like to listen to, hear, and interact on topics just like the ones that we talked about.
all right.
Hey, so I'm gonna tell Triborough peace.
Peace.
If y'all like what y'all heard today, like, subscribe to the channel so that the YouTube algorithm will recognize folks like us are out here putting out quality content so we can reach a bigger audience. I'll holler at y'all.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No doubt, no doubt, y'all.